So welcome to more movie news. Yeah, no, I don't do this stuff anymore. There's just too much to keep up with, and I spend so much time editing the actual reviews that it's just not a thing. But there's not much movie news going around now, so it's like, why not? So Dune! I honestly don't know very much about Dune, other than that I think it's a post-apocalyptic movie in the desert. But in all honesty, I grew up knowing about Dune. It was always that book on my brother's shelf that I was like, what's that? And he would tell me what it was, and it was really complicated. I didn't remember half of it, so we watched some of the movie from the 80s. It was intriguing, to say the least. I just remember thinking that it was like the Wheel of Time, but in the future. Super complex, super in-depth, almost the unfilmable book. And I know that there's a lot of fans out there, like true diehard fans that have read the books and that have seen the movie from the 80s, and I think there was like a miniseries in the early 2000s, and they're like, this is not possible. I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, honestly, I don't really have a place because I don't know enough about it. But here's the deal. We're in kind of a franchise drought right now. I mean, we're done with The Lord of the Rings. We're done with the Harry Potters. The MCU just got done destroying its most powerful villain it probably ever will have. And the DCEU, I mean, go figure, it still doesn't really know where it's going. And Star Wars just finished its 40-year journey. I'm predicting that this is going to be our next big franchise. Yeah, I know. It's been presumed so many flippin' times before. But those were different. Because I could predict that those weren't going to work out way before we ever saw them. All you gotta do is look at the writers, the amount of writers, and the directors, and you're like, no. But let's take a look at this for a second. These are some new images for the new movie that came out today. Now, the movie is being directed by Denis Villeneuve. All I know is that one word always came to my mind when I heard the stories from Dune: scope. Now, with what little knowledge that I have about Dune, I think about the grittiness and the intimacy with the actors and prisoners. I think about the scope in Arrival and in Blade Runner 2049, and then I stop there, and I'm like, the dude directed that. I mean, if you had to think of a movie that was most similar to Dune, and that was done incredibly well, then take that director and automatically put them with Dune. You would think Blade Runner 2049, right? I mean, am I crazy? So I'm predicting it. I think this is going to be the next big franchise. And I understand that there are so many other movies that, in the precursor were like, we're gonna do that. And we're all like, yeah, woohoo! And I was like, no. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors working today. And I think that, seeing as how that it seems that he's going to be splitting the first movie into 2 parts. At least I hope that's what he's doing, because I'm pretty sure there are like 8 books, aren't there? Either way, I don't think that he has the capacity to screw this up. I could be wrong. I mean, Josh Trank, the director of Chronicle, did that, so yeah. You never know. But it seems like he at least has some respect for the scope of Dune. Don't do just one movie. Split it up into 2 or 3 or 16. I hope he does 2 for each book. I think that would be amazing. So anyways, those are my thoughts. I just, tell me what you think below. I mean, I might be talking nonsense, but I really do think that this is going to be the next thing. I think that it'll be a cornerstone in film history. And if nothing else, thank you for listening to me rant. I didn't have time to do this before. Now I have time. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell on the side, and I will see you next time on Movie Slayer.